she is. Valley Grace Nobles, our newest family member. Yeah, you got a little smile. So welcome to the first Monday of the first maternity leave diaries. This is the series that I'm gonna do where I just document my maternity leave because I think it's super interesting and who knows what I'll get up to. And I have the time because I'm home with a baby all day. So a little bit about my maternity leave. I get 12 weeks. I work for the federal government. So I get 12 weeks of maternity leave paid. And I could take more leave. I could take up to 8 weeks using my own, up to 8 extra weeks using my own leave, like my own PTO or my own sick leave or donated leave. So people can donate leave if they're gonna lose it, because you only have a certain amount of time that you can use your leave. People can donate it into a big pot and then you can kind of apply to get some of it. So you could get an extra 8 to 6 weeks on top of the paid parental leave that the government offers. But I'm just gonna take 12 weeks because I don't have enough leave, and honestly, 20 weeks feels like a lot of time because I would get 8 weeks for having had a C-section. So I am on my second week of maternity leave. My first week was technically the week that she was born. So she was born last Tuesday on the 25th. And we were in the hospital for 48 hours. I had a scheduled C-section on the 25th. We had to be there at 5:30 and the C-section started at 7:30. I will make a video about that and how the differences between our unplanned C-section that we had with Zeke and our planned C-section that we had with her, because they're very different in the best ways. So I will make a video about that. But we were in the hospital for 48 hours. So we got discharged on Thursday. And yeah, we've been home for a couple days now. She'll be a week tomorrow. My parents were in town until Sunday and then they just left. And yeah, now it's just Bryson and I. Bryson is also home with me. He technically only gets a week of paternity leave, so that would have been all of last week. He used his paternity leave. But because he works for a church, they have a lot of flex days or comp days. I'm not sure what you call them in your company, but it's where you work when you're like off hours, and so then you get extra days off. So he had 5 of those, so he was able to use them this week to be home with me. And so yeah, I get him this week. I'm super excited about that. It's been really good that I've had him this week because so she dropped too much weight. So babies come out, right? They're all snug, getting fed in the womb, and then they come out, and now they deal with the harsh reality of like, you have to feed yourself or figure out how to feed, and they're just naturally gonna lose weight. So there's like a 10% cap of their body weight. So she came out at 7 pounds, 2 ounces, 19 inches, but she lost that 10%. She came down, I think, to 6 pounds, 7 ounces. So we saw the pediatrician on Friday because typically when you have a baby, you have your discharge papers in hand and you call the pediatrician and you immediately go see them either that day or the next day, or if it's a weekend, that Monday. So we went to the pediatrician on Friday and she was too small. So the pediatrician said you have one of 2 options to get her weight back up. You can either breastfeed hardcore for 24 hours. I mean, you're just gonna be going at breastfeeding as much and as often and as hard as possible for 24 hours. And then we'll send you to our after hours clinic on Saturday and get her weight. Or what you can do is you can take the weekend and do a breastfeed, pump, bottle feed situation every 3 hours, and 3 hours from when she starts, not 3 hours from when she finishes. So if she starts at 5, then you would do it all over again at 8. You wouldn't do it at if she went from 5 to 6, you wouldn't start at 9. So we chose the latter option because we already plan on giving her a bottle. We're gonna give her formula, a little bit of formula, only at night, because our son lost too much weight. It was he was just way underweight for so long. If you have seen my pregnancy body image video, you'll totally understand that story, or you'll know that story anyways. So we were just we're not gonna stress out about it, and we're just gonna give her formula right out of the gate. So just a little bit of formula. We're still going to breastfeed mainly. So anyways, we chose the second option, and Bryson has been phenomenal. He gets up and feeds her the bottle while I'm pumping. So I'll feed her, I'll breastfeed her for like, she takes forever. So like 40 minutes to an hour. And then I'll pump while he's giving her like an ounce of breast milk or an ounce of formula or whatever. And so we've been doing that every 3 hours, and we're pretty tired, both of us. And yeah, and Zeke's been home too, so it's not like we can like sleep when the baby sleeps. But it's been good. We went back to the pediatrician today, and she had gained 4 ounces in 2.5 days. So that's great. I have some clips from the pediatrician. I'll throw them in after I'm done talking. But that was awesome. So we killed it. We crushed it. We're going to continue to do this for the next week. We're choosing to do that because once we get her back up to her weight, her birth weight, the pediatrician said we're more than welcome to stop setting alarms every 3 hours, and we can just sleep at night until she wakes us up. Now we have to keep feeding her every 3 hours during the day because she needs to get those calories one way or the other. So she can either get them during the day and we stick with this like every 3 hours feeding set schedule, or we can just suffer at night. So we're gonna keep doing our breastfeed, pump, bottle feed for this week just to pull her weight all the way back up, get her past that, gaining past her initial body weight, and then we should be good. Hopefully she starts sleeping better. She seemed to sleep a little bit better last night, which was great. So yeah, anyways, I think that's all we're doing really today. Is now we're just gonna hang out and I think make lunch and maybe watch TV or play some games or whatever. And I think it'll be a really low-key week just because we have a newborn and we don't really have a lot going on and nowhere to go, and we kind of just want to take this time and be together. So okay, let's get this week started. Oh, eating her hand. Must be hungry. How do you feel?
Good.
You feel good?
Yes.
How much sleep did we get last night?
8 hours. I think it was 10.
I think it was just 8, if you count all the wakings.
8, count them.
8, count them. Have you found Waldo?
Yeah. He's on it.
We've parked ourselves on the couch, about to watch our favorite show, finishing it. Made some veggie burgers. Little girl is sleeping in her swing. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. I really like to watch Bryson play video games when they're fun video games. And so we made an agreement that we would get this video game that I could watch him play when we had the baby for some entertainment. So she's waking up so I can feed her, doing her big stretches. Oh, big stretch. And then soon we're gonna go take a return to an Amazon drop off and go pick up her brother, and then Bryson's family's coming over to meet her. We're so excited. Oh, there's the arm. I love it. Such a cute stage. Making some lunch while little girl sleeps. I'm making a quesadilla with a bunch of leftovers that we have in the fridge. Bryson is making a sandwich, his favorite of all food groups.
Sandwiches.
With all this lunch meat my parents bought. Pulled out some cinnamon roll bread for snacking on later. Yum.
Yum.
Yum. Here's my final lunch plate. Looks like a lot of food, but I might be able to eat it all, or maybe not. I don't know. But I used up those leftovers. am getting ready to go to the hospital with Valley to see a lactation specialist. So our hospital has amazing lactation specialists. It's Emory Decatur in Georgia, if that's where you're from. Highly recommend them. But they have lactation specialists that you can see up to 7 times for free. I mean, it's not free. They charge your insurance, but you can just call and make an appointment, and then you can just go in and they'll like take a look at whatever's going on. If you have like pump parts that you want to get checked out, or in our case, Valley's not latching great. So I can get her latched, but it's like a real struggle. And so I just wanted to go in and see them one more time before I make the decision to go exclusively to pumping, which might be the case, because I just don't want to struggle with it. Like, I just don't want to fight with it. And if I can give her, meet her needs with breast milk with pumping, then that's just what I'm going to do. Because we've been feeding her, because we were doing that, like, breastfeeding, pumping, bottle feeding thing, and still are for the rest of this week. I'm already pumping all the time, so whatever. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I'm getting ready. I put in my contacts just because I'll have to wear a mask, and that way I just don't have to worry about my glasses fogging up. And then, yeah, just put on some makeup so I feel a little bit more human. And then we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna go, and hopefully it just will help me make my decision today. Highly recommend, if you are on a breastfeeding journey and feeling frustrated, that you see a lactation specialist. Also, breastfeeding is really hard. It's the second time I've done it, and I still think it's like the hardest thing on the face of the planet. So, gotta stay hydrated. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. I don't even know why I bothered doing my hair, because why? Because I'm just gonna put it all up anyways, it gets in the way. So anyways, let's go. I'll update you on how it went when we get back. Peace out. Okay, just got home from the lactation consultant. Ate some lunch. I was starving. I was there for like 2 hours. Took my contacts out because they were bothering the crap out of me, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. But I'm not super excited about what the lactation consultant had to say, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it out. She said that Valley is, and this is I totally see this, is when she is breastfeeding, she's doing this, and she needs to be doing this. And that's the reason why her latch is not doing so great. So she gave me a nipple shield, which I am not excited to use, but I'm going to use it for 1 week, and then I'm not going to fight with it anymore. I just have had them in the past. They work so great for some women, but it's such tomfoolery to me. It just doesn't, I'm just not very good with it. But maybe this time will be different. The nipple shield is different. It's one of those Medula, like really thin silicone ones that has like the cutout on it. I'll link a really good article down below about nipple shields if you're like, what are you talking about? And so this should help her like do the right sucking motion when she's breastfeeding. She also gave me some exercises I need to do with her. So I need to massage her jaw 3 times a day. And then I need to, using my pinky, nail side down, go into her mouth and do sucking training where she sucks on my pinky. And then I need to move my pinky around every so often and like force her tongue to go to the sides. It also looks like she has an upper lip tie, which our pediatrician didn't say anything about. Neither the pediatrician we saw in the hospital nor our pediatrician that we use now, who we adore and trust totally. Neither of them said anything about it, but I'll address it at her 1 month. For right now, I'm just not going to deal with it. So we're going to attempt the nipple shield for 1 week, and then we're going to try to wean her off of it. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to go to straight pumping because I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to be stressed out. If I can still just pump and give her breast milk, then that's what I'm going to do. So wish us luck. I'll update you probably next week on how it's going. Yay! All right, voiced over Sarah coming in hot to tell you that if you are the type of person that really needs to see things completed, just go ahead and skip this whole section. My goal here was to go ahead and reorganize my pantry and go through my fridge and everything, like my pantry, my fridge and freezer. That way I could kind of prep out our meals for the coming week, but then the baby started crying and I just got distracted, so it never got finished. So I am making a birthday cake for one of our good friends that we are going to go see tonight. She's going to come to my in-laws' house because she's a really good family friend. So I made the cake layers yesterday, just a really simple vanilla cake, and I am going to work on a Swiss meringue buttercream right now, and then hopefully roll the whole cake in sprinkles. So I thought we could do that together. So let's jump in. So a big thing about making any type of meringue is that you don't want any fat on any of the utensils that you're using. So what you see me doing here is just wiping down all of my mixing bowls and whisks with vinegar, because the vinegar will break up any fat that's in there. So if there's any fat in your meringue, it won't form stiff peaks. So now I'm just separating egg whites from yolks because you don't want the yolks. The yolks contain fat and they will screw up your meringue. But of course, I like to play things risky, and I decided to not separate my egg whites and yolks in a separate container. And it worked out here, but there was a moment when I thought that I might have broken an egg yolk and gotten a little bit of fat into the meringue, but it turned out fine. And so now I'm just creating a double broiler, which will, I've whisked the egg whites and some sugar together, and I'm putting this over a pot of boiling water, which is called a double broiler, and I'm bringing that water to a slight simmer. I'm not allowing it to touch the bottom, and then I'm just whisking constantly until the egg white and sugar mixture becomes this kind of like foamy consistency. And it should read at a specific temperature. I think my thermometer here was in Celsius, so I was really confused on why it wasn't getting to the temperature that I needed it, and then I realized it was in Celsius. Another thing you can do if you don't have a thermometer to figure out the temperature of your meringue, or to know if your meringue mixture is ready to be whipped, is you can dip your finger in the bowl and kind of rub some of the liquid between your fingers and see if it's grainy still. If it's grainy, it's not ready, but if it's smooth and kind of sticky, then the meringue and sugar have completely combined and it's ready to whip. And then you just whip it until stiff peaks form, and then once it's cooled down, you want to really make sure the bowl and everything are pretty cool. You go ahead and you throw in butter 1 tablespoon at a time. And so then once all of that was done, I was ready to frost my cake. I had made this cake on Thursday. I made it in a sheet pan, and then I just cut out rounds the size that I wanted. This cake ended up being much thicker than I thought it was going to, and it also ended up super lopsided. As I watch back over this video, I see why. It's because one half, I have 2 halves that I cut out of the sheet pan tray that went on top, and one of them is thinner than the other. And so this cake ended up super wonky, but you know what? I just said wonky cake for a wonky year, right? So here I am just finishing it. I really wanted to be able to roll the cake in meringue, but I didn't have any, or in the sprinkles, not in meringue, rather than just put them on by hand, which I end up doing, but I just didn't have the cardboard to be able to do that. So usually you need cardboard cutouts. I can link a video below showing you how to do that if that's something you'd be interested in. So yeah, the cake, she was cute, but she was wonky. I'm not the best cake baker. I think they taste good, the cakes that I make, but I'm not really great at decorating them, so I'm still trying to do that. So yeah, here's the cake, and off we are to our in-laws, and that is where this video will end for the day. We'll see you next week.